Top 10 Best Blu-ray Player. Number 10. Sony UBP-X1100ES. Sony's UBP-X1100ES, the newer version of the X1000ES, deserves to replace the older model on this list. This version genuinely improves on its predecessor, with a superb range of features, including both native 4K and the ability to upscale. The picture quality has had a full makeover from the previous model and looks stunning. There's even full support for Dolby Vision. We also like the price. $600 may seem expensive, but the sheer number of models in this range make it clear that there are plenty of people prepared to pay it. In our opinion, the UBP-X1100ES is better than similar Blu-ray players from Panasonic and Yamaha, noted below. However, this model does have some significant flaws. We aren't wild about the outputs and found them limiting, lacking balanced audio outputs and multi-channel analog. There are also very few streaming options. You only get access to Netflix, Amazon Prime, and YouTube. If you're a Hulu subscriber. Number 9. Philips BDP-7502. The Philips BDP-7502 is the perfect alternative if you can't find the LG UBK90, our top-ranked player. It does virtually the same things, at roughly the same price, with just enough difference in the picture to make it an alternative. We believe the colors the BDP-7502 offers aren't quite as bright as the UBK90's, despite the presence of HDR, but we did feel like there was a touch more definition and detail to the picture. Ultimately, these two players are perhaps two sides of the same coin. One thing the BDP-7502 doesn't have that the UP970 does is 3D capability, which is something you should bear in mind before you buy. Beyond that, you get a fairly standard sub-$200 player. Philips can't really compete with the functionality and build quality of brands like Sony and LG, but they've always done a pretty good job. Number 8. Panasonic DP-UB9000. We hesitated to include Panasonic on this list. They can be tough to find in the US, and although retailers like Amazon do offer them, the selection can be hit or miss. But in the end, we decided we'd be crazy not to include them on this list. This model, the DP-UB9000, offers truly unbelievable 4K picture that's easily the best of any model on this list. The clarity, brightness, and detail have to be seen to be believed. Both 4K discs and non-4K sources are handled well. The DP-UB9000 may cost over $1,000, but if you can find one, it's absolutely worth it. That being said, we do understand if you decide to pass, thanks to fluctuating availability. A more commonly available player that excels at 4K, but doesn't quite reach the heights the DP-UB9000 does, is the PlayStation 5. It also has the advantages of being able to play games and costs a very reasonable $400 for the top model. Number 7. PlayStation 5 Console. While the new PlayStation 5 is an excellent console, and a highly competent Blu-ray player, it loses out to the Xbox Series X, discussed above. Unlike the Xbox, it has no ability to play Dolby Vision, which is a significant letdown. That means that, in terms of Blu-ray watching, it's a poor second choice to the Xbox. While it is a superb console in its own right, and of course boasts many other fantastic qualities, it's not the natural choice here. That said, if you do watch Blu-ray on the PlayStation 5, It's still up there with some of the best dedicated Blu-ray players available today. Worth noting, there is a digital version of the PlayStation 5, which costs $200 less and has no disc drive at all. If you plan on watching any Blu-ray discs, make sure you spring for the fully featured, $499 PlayStation 5. Number 6. Sony UBP-X800M2. Sony are one of the few companies who continue to regularly release new Blu-ray players. The UBP-X800M2 is an exceptional player, a second-generation model that adds support for Dolby Vision and HDR, improving on what was already an excellent feature set. At $300, it happily takes on more expensive models from the likes of Yamaha and Pioneer, with excellent picture quality and audio. We do have misgivings, however. Yes, Dolby Vision and HDR are worth having, but not much else has been upgraded. This is despite the fact that the UBP-X800M2 costs $50 more than its predecessor. It would have been nice to see some more tweaks, but either way, this is an excellent player. By the way, the Amazon listing we have linked here throws in 2 Blu-ray discs as a bonus to get you started. Number 5. Sony UBP-X700 4K. Dolby Vision is fantastic. It's a type of software that intelligently adjusts the brightness of each pixel on screen on the fly, giving you the best possible picture at all times. Not many players offer it, and right now, the Sony UBP-X700 is the player to go for if you want to experience it. Dolby Vision is a significant upgrade on the free-to-use HDR10 standard that most of the industry relies on. Even other Sony models, like the UBP-X800, don't have this. The inclusion results in a stunning picture that far exceeds its price. We think the LG UBK90 is a touch better, overall, but the Sony player is still an excellent choice. In our opinion, however, we think the sound could be improved on. We don't think the UBP-X700 really does justice to movie soundtracks, with audio quality that felt a bit weak and weedy. However, this is a minor issue, and for the most part, the UBP-X700 is a satisfying player that delivers terrific value. Number 4. Xbox Series X. If you're a gamer who occasionally watches 4K Blu-ray discs, then the brand new Xbox Series X is the console to go for. It gets the nod over the PlayStation 5 thanks to its compatibility with Dolby Vision. Dolby Vision allows much brighter and more distinct picture quality, and having seen it, we can confirm that it's worth your time. But aside from the fact that the interface and operation of the Series X far outstrips most other players here. And of course, you can play games on it too. There is, however, a problem with Blu-ray on the Xbox Series X that is worth bearing in mind. The Dolby Vision compatibility isn't available from launch. It will be added at a later date, so although we don't think its absence demotes the console from this position, you won't get to enjoy the future from the get-go. Number 3. Sony S3700 Blu-ray disc player. If you prefer to get your entertainment from streaming services like Netflix, as opposed to actual discs, the Sony BDP-S3700 is absolutely the best way to do it. It has one of the best streaming interfaces around, and at a killer price. It gives you access to a range of streaming services, including Netflix, YouTube, and Amazon Prime, all in an intuitive, fast interface. The 4K upscaling is decent enough that you'll also see a real improvement in picture. Check the buying advice below for more on this. However, despite the positives, this is still a relatively budget player and you should expect a design and build quality to match. The Sony BDP-S3700 looks ugly, with flimsy controls and build quality. Nevertheless, it remains one of the simplest ways to watch streaming services, and compared to our other budget-friendly pick, the $179 Sony UBP-X700, it does a better job of this. Number 2. Sony BDP-S6700 4K. If you're looking to spend around $100, you'll still be able to get a solid Blu-ray player, even if you sacrifice some pricier features like 4K and HDR. The Sony BDP-S6700 is the older version of the excellent Sony BDP-S3700, below, and, despite its venerable status, it's still an easy choice for best budget player. You get streaming, 2D to 3D conversion tech, decent load times, and solid picture quality. Normally, we steer clear of players under $100, which tend to be very poor quality. But Sony are a trusted name, and BDP-S6700 is the right choice here. As with all budget options, you have to know about the downsides before you buy. The BDP-S6700 is a superb player, but it's not perfect. Our main issue was with the clumsy implementation of the PlayStation Now app. If you're interested in using that app, we suggest going for the PlayStation 5, discussed below. There are also a few issues with lag, particularly when inputting text. Number 1. LG UBK90. We don't think there's a better overall Blu-ray player currently available than the LG UBK90. The value this little wonder from LG offers is nothing short of staggering, beating out similarly priced models from Sony, Philips, and Yamaha. It's the picture quality that sealed the deal for us, gorgeous color and detail, with real depth and richness. While other players, like the inexpensive Sony BDP-S6700, offer slightly better streaming experiences, the LG UBK90 is still a whiz at streaming Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, and more. It offers much better picture and sound quality than the Sony and other less expensive players, which makes it a better choice overall. For most people, the LG UBK90 is the only player they'll ever need. There are a few minor issues worth knowing about before you choose this player. We wish there was a front display, and we don't think the remote is anything special. We also wish there was an HDMI cable included, as there is with the Sony UBP-X800M2. However, for this price, it would be crazy to get too critical over such small details. LG have pulled off a miracle here, adding to their already ridiculously good Blu-ray range. The UBK90 is a real winner. By the way, here's a pro tip. LG have a newer model called the UBK-M9, which costs $29 more and is exactly the same as the UBK90. Literally exactly the same, with the same features and specs, just rebranded for the new year. Save your money, buy the older model, and get exactly the same player. Check out the description for more information in latest price.